my favorite Politburo YouTube channel, or what do they call them? Where I don't fucking remember. Basically, lie or like false information peddling YouTube channel, Prager University. Now, saying Prager University is a university would be akin to saying that I am the president. In other words, I am not. Maybe in some universes I am, but actually I don't think in any universe Prager University would be a universe, or it would be a university. But they are one of my favorite channels to laugh at on YouTube because of the sheer amount of idpol bullshit they put out. And I was looking through some of their videos recently, and I saw something that kind of caught my eye. I'm a couple years out of college. I graduated 2014, and so it's been a while. And I kind of miss my college days. And, I always wondered how people in, schools are getting by and what they're doing. And PragerU just happened to have a video on what are your kids? Why can you not see that? What? Hold on. There. Yep, there you go. Sorry. What are your kids learning in school? Okay, I always think of PragerU as PoggerU, and I'm like, no, they're not Pog. They're very unpog. But yeah, so PragerU, I am very curious because I've been out of college for a while. I don't know what kids are learning in school. Do you know? Can you enlighten me on this subject?
What's happening in our schools? Colleges have become leftist indoctrination centers.
So, off the bat, I just want to address the fact that college has always been a left-leaning institution. Basically, any and all social progress has come out of universities and colleges for the last 60 years. This isn't anything new. This is something that we've all kind of seen. Even during the Enlightenment, those all came out of collegiate institutions. I think one of the few modern advancements in society that did not have come out of a college was the 5-day work week. And that was literally because people should have time to buy shit. So yeah, it's really important to see this.
It's not a new problem. It's been going on for decades, first behind the scenes and now out front. That's how radical change happens. It creeps up.
Also, if anyone says that what happens in college is radical change, then what they're saying is they want to go back to the most approximate thing I can glean from that sentiment is they want to go back to the Stone Age, and they want us to be banging on sticks and throwing rocks at each other because, let's be honest, change, society doesn't progress without people having the ability and the time to, and that's the other thing, without the time to effectively make it work. And that's the other thing too, is yes, radical change doesn't just happen overnight. I'm moving this stuff back because I can. Radical change isn't some wild new concept that comes out of the woodwork from nowhere. Radical change, as they would put it, is something that is very obvious. It's not something that, it's not like overnight, all of a sudden, it is literally not the case that overnight people in college were going out and saying, yeah, trans women are women. No, that was something that we've been saying for a long time. It's just now it's becoming more important and more prescient because people like PragerU and whoever is they're highlighting in this video is so vocally against social progress that it has to be put in front of everyone's faces. Otherwise, society will never advance, and we will move backwards to I don't know. We'll all be, yeah.
It's up on us. And when we finally figure out what's going on, it's too late. What's been happening on college campuses is now happening in elementary schools and high schools.
And this actually is true, but that's been happening for much longer than that too. This isn't something that's like, oh, all of a sudden now this radical change. Like, no, this is something that we've had and we've addressed. Even when these people were young and children, and before they didn't go to college, they still went to elementary schools and high schools that said, hey, maybe we should treat people with dignity and respect. Maybe we should, not impugn black people for being black. Maybe we should not reach this level of social antagonism toward other people. This isn't some sort of new concept. What's been happening in colleges disseminates down to high schools and elementary schools. It's been happening forever. Basically, at the same level that a new teacher is hired. When a teacher leaves college, because they have to have a degree, and they go into high school, they take what they learn with them. Teachers go back for certifications all the time. They learn these new things. They take them back. This is not some sort of new phenomenon that's in elementary schools and high schools. And of course, what they're talking about is radical gender ideology. That colleges are, of course, abducting children to inject hormones into them and make the little girls into big beefy bodybuilders and the little boys into dainty little ballerinas, and which is, obviously we all know that to be 100% true. So yeah.
I know. I'm a mom of 2 school-aged kids. I've seen it with
Jill Simonian, the Fab Mom. It's always interesting to look these people up whenever you see them, because first of all, they are 100%, like, anyone who's going to be on PragerU is 100% going to be a piece of shit. Second of all, ooh, she wrote some books. Oh fuck, she has a YouTube. Holy
Jill Simone is
Let's see what she has. How to Feel Young. We Sing. Okay. These are all old videos. The Tip to Score Moms More Free Time. Come on. The Struggle is Real. Aveeno Positively Radiant Make. Okay. Diapers Are Easier. Load up on... I'm not really sure what... This looks like just parenting advice? Or maybe like the wine mom just want to grill type YouTube stuff. I don't know. Let's see what her oh no. Oh my god. Okay. There's nothing wrong with exercise. There's nothing wrong with exercising when you're pregnant. There is something wrong with too much exercise. I see this fit pregnancy shit, and this is a big problem. Unfortunately, when you are pregnant, there's a level of, and we've seen the science on this. I'm not 100% on the full thing of it, but I do know that there is a level of there is a level of body fat that you should maintain, both for your nutritional health and the baby's nutritional health, because if you don't get enough intake, which a lot of people who work out a lot don't intake enough, and I can guarantee you, just by the looks of her, she's one of those people where she's like, oh, I'm going to have a pea and a carrot, and that'll be my entire meal for the day, and shit like that is really fucking dangerous for your kids. There's not a problem with working out. Just make sure you're eating enough. I know this because I used to work out fucking all the time. I used to work out, I'd work out 8 times a week, basically. So, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. So, do real things in person. Oh, yeah, of course. Okay. During COVID, see people. Yeah, no. Free and brave. Interesting. In front of PragerU, weird flex. Calm the kids by faking it. The truth to the... Wait. Hold on. Was that when the... Where did she... This really seems like just like conservative trad mom. Yeah, California seems to be where she's at. I kind of figured that. Was that when the wildfire? Was that the wildfire? Yep, that was the wildfires. That was when all that holy shit. Calm kids by faking it. Like, oh yeah, no, our state's on fire and our skies are literally fucking red. It looks like Blade Runner outside. Like, these are literally just like, these are actual photos people took. The wildfires. God, I can't say that shit. Like this shit right here. Undoctored. This is just a picture from downtown. Like, yeah, no, just stay calm. Tell your kids it's normal. Yeah, this is... I'm a TV host and entertainment journalist turned parenting lifestyle contributor on air and online. My most recent long-running... She seems like a mom tradcon version of Abigail Shapiro, who... Back-to-back baby girls... Okay. Interesting. What are her books? Is this just the one? The Fab Mom's Guide, How to Get Over the Bump about... Okay, that... Alright. Okay, well, yeah, she seems like just like a mom version of Abigail Shapiro.
With my own eyes. More and more parents are seeing it too. Thanks to the lockdowns and Zoom, we're getting a window...
Okay. Okay, we need to... Oh my god. I love doing PragerU, but I hate doing PragerU because I have to stop it every 5 seconds because something stupid gets fucking said on behalf of their host. Parents, if you are not aware of what your kids are learning in class, the lockdowns in Zoom are not the problem. And I know what she's saying is that thanks to this, she's finally able to see what's happening because her kids are just like, oh, this is normal. And she's making a big deal about this. But the fact of the matter is that regardless of anything else, she is woefully unaware of what her kids are learning in class. And her kids are going to be, if she was not involved in their education, would probably be better off for it. But the thing is parents like to complain about this, and you can tell that the only reason she's probably complaining about this is she just didn't give them enough time and didn't pay the fuck attention.
Into our children's classes. It's not a pretty picture. Kids, really young kids, are being taught stuff so radical, so devoid of...
How radical? Like, are they like gnarly surf techniques? Like, we're talking like radical shredding skills on the slopes? Like, what are we talking about here?
What real education is, it should alarm us all.
Also, what do they mean by real education? Like, so she's probably talking about woke gender ideology and Black Lives Matter. Like, okay, is sociology and psychology and science, are those not real education subjects? No, you're right, yeah. Real education is teaching children how to take tests. That's it. That's all education is. We can go home, everyone. We're done.
Here are a few examples. Recently, Chicago Public...
Let's see how much we can break this down. Do we do a bingo card for this? God, I really wish I had the ability, like, had bingo cards on the fly. That'd be a lot of fun. But that's all right.
Public schools adopted an American history curriculum based on the 1619 Project published and promoted by the New York Times.
Oh. It's one of those things. Okay. I know what this is. All right, for those of you who don't know, the 1619 Project is a New York Times public source project where they talk about the history of America's racial antagonism dating back before the founding of the country to when the first slave ships arrived in the New World, in what the European colonials called the New World at the time. In the year 1619, it is a project to bring to light the plights of racial inequality and injustice. It is not a rewriting of American history. It is basically bringing forth issues that, let's be honest, white people are fucking uncomfortable with. There are a lot of them over the time. This isn't some woke, radical rewriting of history. This is just, saying, hey, this shit happened. We should be aware of it. That's all that this is. My bet is she's going to go on this about, oh, I thought America was founded in 1776. Blah, I'm really dumb and don't read shit.
The 1619 Project asserts that America's founding was not marked by the Declaration of Independence in 1776.
Yup. Fucking knew it. Knew it. No. That's not what they're saying. They're saying that racial antagonism has gone back to 1619. This is the conservative talking point on this. It's not that America was not founded in 1776. The United States of America was unequivocally founded in 1776. But the racial antagonisms of this country and of black people in America and the Americas were dated back to 1619 when the first slaves were brought over. That is actually a fact. That's not some revision of history. This isn't like some sort of revisionism and saying, oh, well, we became a country in 1619, didn't you know?
But the arrival of the first African slaves in Jamestown in 1619. Historians from across the political spectrum have denounced this as a giant lie.
So, okay, what happened is the original project had a misstatement in it that said America's founding was this. They have since addressed that and changed it. It's not so. Yes, people called this out, but they addressed that and they fixed it because it was a misspeaking on behalf of the people organizing the project. They were like, oh shit, yeah, we were just missing, we did that on accident. That wasn't something that they intentionally did. They weren't trying to say, oh, America was refounded at this point in time. It was just it's like a typo. That's all it really was.
The New York Times has walked back many of the project's original claims. Still,
no, they didn't. They simply, since the project's publishing, people have reviewed it for accuracy and details to make sure that the information they have is 100% accurate. This is also something that I want to make sure everyone knows PragerU refuses to do. PragerU has never gone back into a video of theirs and admitted that they were wrong. They have never gone back into looking at something that they they worked on prior and changed it and addressed it to be more accurate for any form of information. They've never looked at something they've done and been like, oh, hey, we're sorry that we spoke falsely there. All they've ever done on this was just go through and say, oh, they just double down or they repost their shit. There was one recently. Oh, Jesus, they did one on utilities? I didn't even see that. Oh, right here. Is this the end of women's sports? This was a reposted video from, or maybe not a reposted, but a remade video. The same girl did something way down here. I didn't cover it, but someone else did. But yeah, it's like they've done that video twice, and they double down every time.
This malicious slander of America is now being taught in schools as truth. And what is that?
Also, it should be known that this is not malicious slander. By her calling this malicious slander, what she's doing is she's actually engaging in historical revisionism. This is, and I know people are going to be yelling at me for this, and people are going to be really critical, but I want to be really clear on this. Previous authoritarian governments, such as Nazi Germany, not Stalin, late USSR, and even like current day China has done this. They have all revised their history to leave out events that they don't like to suit their narrative. Where now you're seeing modern day Germany addresses everything in excruciatingly painful detail. Like German kids go through a lot of understanding and education around the Holocaust and around World War II and why what happened was bad. I'm pretty sure they addressed the redactions and corrections. Yeah. No, they did address those. It wasn't even like a skit. It was like they issued like a huge statement, like saying, "Here's why we changed everything." And a lot of it, like the one she's referring to, was just literally a typo. A lot of them were like, "Oh, hey, we should have worded this differently, or we should have worded that differently." It just, it wasn't like
That truth? That America is, was, and always has been a fundamentally racist country.
Yeah, this is true. It has been. The fact of the matter is America was founded on, was built by, and continues to be a racist country, even if it's no longer overtly racist, or directly racist. It is indirectly racist. Policies today, such as mandatory minimum sentencing, the war on drugs, and a number of other like immigration policies are excuse me, are absolutely racist. They, holy shit, disproportionately target people of color. And of course, I'm going to be charitable here. If you look at things by a sheer number game, white people are vastly more affected, but proportionately, there are more, not proportionally, by the numbers, there are more white people in America. So that's good. That's to be expected. However, proportionately, as in a percentage population versus what happens, you see a much higher rate of occurrence among communities of color, among minority communities. We absolutely are a racist country. Hell, like PragerU would make the claim that, slavery wasn't racist, and I think they have, that slavery wasn't racist because we brought black people to America, and now black people in America, some of them are wealthy. So really, black people should be thanking us. And I know that they've made this claim. I don't remember which video it was in, but they've made that claim before. This is something that would absolutely happen. This is something that would be this is a insane take. Like, they would look at something like, like the fact is we have a systemic level even now with the prison industrial complex where we are keeping people in prisons not because they need to be in prison, but because it is more profitable for private industries to be in prison. This is why we see a lack of job opportunities, black people living in poverty, and like this is actually, it's not like some like giant conspiracy, but it's just like you don't see businesses going into low-income zones, which predominantly tend to be people of color. Yes, you do have low-income areas where white people live. That's absolutely true. Yes, white people can be poor. But guess what? By far, more people who are poor tend to be people of color. That's not like some impugnment to their character or anything. It's just we live in a society that has generational wealth, and opportunities are not available, and there is no equity of opportunity. There's no equality of opportunity in this country, and that's the problem. That's what needs to be addressed. That's one of the things the 1619 Project wants to talk about. But you see shit like this, and they don't even want to fucking talk about it. They just want to yell about how, oh my god, my fifis. Like, that's literally the point here.
And that white Americans today bear responsibility for all current and historic racism.
Okay, this is a take that, I'm going to make sure I'm like saying this the right way. I disagree with the take that the 1619 Project, if this is what they made, but I disagree with the take that all white people today bear responsibility for this. Because here's the thing. Everyone and every society has some form of racism embedded into them. It's not even a debatable subject. Whether it is overtly racist or it is, consciously or subconsciously, you have some form of inherent bias in you. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's a problem. And I'm not trying to defend racists here. I want to make sure that's clear. The problem is when you refuse to acknowledge that and you refuse to address it. I make conscious efforts to improve myself, to improve the way I act, to improve the way I think. I do that because I know that when I was born, the situations that raised me could have implanted certain unconscious biases or subconscious biases within me. And so I make sure I understand these things. I make sure I progress this stuff. Anyone who says that all white people are responsible for historic and current racism it's not true. Like, even if your family owned slaves in the past, like, you yourself are not responsible. And I do not believe this to be the case. There's a saying, should, like, the sins of the father and the sins of the son and whatnot, like, you should not be responsible for the actions of those who came before you. Like, okay, there's a difference if, say, you lived in the early 1800s on a plantation in the South and your parents owned slaves and you just kind of were on that plantation and you acted like a giant dickhead and whipped the slaves and everything like that. Yeah, you need to bear some of that responsibility. But say 2 or 3 generations down the line where, you're like some middle class person and your family sold all of their land and, they used to own slaves, like, denounce it, say that's bad, and then fucking move on. Don't do, like, there's one of the John Oliver Last Week Tonight episodes did this video of, like, do you know how much it cost to own slaves back then? Like, don't do that fucking shit. Okay, let's be honest, that's really fucking bad. That is racist. That is really fucking cringe. But white people, you don't, like, unless you're, like, and I'm not saying, like, trying to absolve white people of their sins, because I think at a systemic level, yeah, white people do need to take responsibility, but we need to take responsibility and we need to address that in how we move forward. Like, if you're not addressing this and how you're moving forward, that's the problem. That's where the problem lies. That's where I would say there's rightful blame there. Like, if we're just perpetuating the problems and we're not making things better, we're not doing anything, advocating for anything to make things better, then yes, I agree. But that's not what's happening. That's not what people are getting at. That's not the situation we find ourselves in. People aren't going out and they're not making the claim, oh my God, how dare you not this, that, or the other. It's not, oh my God, how dare, like, you yourself of a history of racism and you need to atone for all of your sins you've ever done. If you don't, holy fucking shit, you are canceled. You are going to be lined up in front of the firing squad. It's not that you individually are the responsibility, but there's a systemic problem that you need to be a part that you should be a part of the movement to correct that problem. And if not, then yes, you bear responsibility. And as far as current racism, I'm sorry, but if you advocate for things like broken windows policing, actually, no, I'm not sorry. Fuck you. If you advocate for broken windows policing, if you advocate for the war on drugs, if you advocate against criminal justice reform, then yeah, no, you are responsible for current racism. Fuck off.
This bleeds perfectly into another educational debacle: diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now,
okay. I really want to know what she has to say against equity, because, like, anyone who talks against equity is literally just saying that some people are like, not worth as much as others. Just so we're all clear on that.
This might sound innocent, but don't be fooled. It's a dangerous euphemism for something called critical race theory.
Okay. All right. I'm going to cut this off at the pass. Critical race theory. This is the big straw man that people on the right are dog whistling about. And this isn't the first time it came up. It came up like 10 years ago, and then it came up in the mid-90s. Basically, what happened is in the 1970s, a bunch of civil rights advocates who started going to college and started looking into, getting deeper education, started to examine the intersectionalities of race through different cultural lenses, as far as class, as far as political power, as far as everything else. The idea is behind critical race theory is, as you can see here, there's two common ideas. First of all, white supremacy is real and it has a maintained power over time and plays a role in our law practices. This is true. This is absolutely true. The Senate has only ever elected like 8 or something people of color to its ranks in the entire history of the United States. Not like 8%, 8. Like the number 8. And the second is that in order to alleviate the problems, the racial inequity in America, the first thing we need to do is change the relationship with law enforcement and move towards equity and move towards reform, so that we don't have punitive justice, we don't have subordinative justice, we don't look at race as a standalone factor. We have to understand it with its intersectionality and the power dynamics affected to it outside of just race. So, of course, the idea behind this is, where conservatives get hung up on it, is that white supremacy exists. Conservatives will tell you, left and right, they will swear up and down to say there is no such thing as white supremacy. A lot of white people live in poverty. How could you ever imply that white people are superior to black people? You are the racist. And the fact is, this is not true. No one's saying that white people are superior to black people. No one is saying, any of this other shit. What we are saying, and what people by and large get at, and what they mean by critical race theory, is that, or when they say white supremacy exists, is that they say there are people out there who believe white people are better than black people. And it's absolutely true. And the number of those people are in there, and they have, a number of people, there is a larger number of white supremacists than any other form of extremists. It is true. Even if you were to consider a socialist an extremist, or a communist an extremist, there are still more white supremacists. It's absolutely true. There are people who advocate for white supremacy who may not be, think they're white supremacists, but because of the way they advocate, yeah, you could probably make the claim. So that's what critical race theory gets at, and a lot of conservatives get really hung up on the second part, and they don't really ever think about the first part, so they never ever think about the second part.
Critical race theory says that racism is woven into the very fabric of American society.
That's one of them. Not as direct, but it absolutely is true. We've talked about this.
Like in a school setting, middle and high school students in Wellesley, Massachusetts are being taught to be on the lookout for unconscious racial bias in their classmates. We need your help, an email to students reads.
So there is nothing wrong with addressing unconscious racial biases. When people complain about this shit, it's literally because, oh my God, I can't, they're yelling at me because I don't support black-owned businesses. That's what people, think this is all about. And it's not. Should you? Probably. But no one's going to sit here and force you to go shopping in a different place because you're white. The idea is change your lens on how you look at things. Maybe if you're looking for a new restaurant to try, oh, hey, try something that's not quite in your area. Maybe go out of your way a little bit. That's basically what people are looking at here. When you're voting on politicians, look at who you're voting for. See if the people who you're voting for really are the best people for the job.
Your school leaders will be working with you this year on how to be proactive about preventing bias incidents and how to report them should they occur.
Now, okay, there is a lens of this too, where a bias incident, it depends on what they're getting at. If their bias incident is, I don't even know what they're saying on this bias incident. It would really depend on how they're declaring it. I could see someone making this in a really, I could see someone doing something in a really weird way that would make me go like, but again, I don't know what they're getting at, how it looks like. It's up in the air. So, like, I'd have to see the individual thing that they're considering a bias incident. Like, if it's something where it's like, oh my God, you're wearing a basketball jersey of a white person. Like, yeah, that would be like, what the fuck does that even have to do with anything? Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to be like, oh my God, look at me, I'm so woke. I'm just saying I don't know what this looks like. I'd have to look at it.
This warped vision of America doesn't stop at race. In Colorado, first graders are being taught that just because someone looks like a boy doesn't mean they are.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. Holy shit. There are studies after studies after studies after studies on this. Trans people exist. Trans people are valid. You could be someone born with a XY chromosomes and have an androgen insensitivity, meaning you grow up to be female. You could have someone, androgen you're androgen insensitive, meaning your body doesn't process androgen as you should. So even though chromosomally you are male, you end up living life as a woman. You don't have a penis because you don't develop with a penis. You literally develop with a vagina. It's been documented. Like, there have been men who discover their XX because they have their body is extra sensitive to androgen. There are women who, like, there are men who have uteruses. There are women who have penises, and not because they're trans. Like, literally, this is just how their body their body develops this way. They don't do anything with it. They just develop this way. This is not some social cultural Marxist bullshit. We all know this. Like, but yeah, no. Continue telling me why you're wrong.
Only they can know who they truly are.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, hold on. Does she think that if someone goes to school to be a chef, that person? And I know that people are going to be like, "This is a ridiculous claim," but does she think that if someone goes to school for culinary arts and becomes a chef, that they were forced into it by cultural Marxist kitchen roles, or does she think that, like, it's biologically encoded that this person is gonna be a chef? Like, does she think that, like, you have a DNA sequence that says, okay, my DNA says I like wearing leggings a lot. That means I can only wear leggings ever because it's in my DNA. Like, no. This is, identity and expression are a part of who we are. We do it for literally everything else. This is not some sort of, like, insane thing. All we're teaching children to do is become more acceptable. And she's complaining about, hey, listen, trans people are valid. We should recognize that. We should recognize that we don't have to sit in a binary gender role, a society where gender roles are so strict and binary. Literally nothing's wrong with that. This isn't affecting her. This isn't affecting. No one's gonna take her, abduct her kids and be like, okay, if you're not trans, we're gonna hurt your mom. Like, no one's saying that. That's just not happening.
Gender is something they choose for themselves, based on how masculine or feminine they feel.
Well, yeah, no, this has been happening even before transgender individuals. Like, okay, is she aware of, like, tomboys? Like, is she aware of, like, girls who are sportier, men who are more? What does she think that, like, fucking Versace? Like, does she wear? Like, I wonder if she wears, like, Versace or Prada or anything like that. Any of those, like, fashion companies that were founded by extremely feminine men. Or, like, what does she think of gay people? Like, is it like, oh, well, you just? Actually, no. I have a feeling that her stance on gay people is they should all be executed. But,
Or maybe they're not fully a boy or a girl, but something in between.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. What's wrong with that?
Whatever that may be.
Why does it matter? Why do you care?
To repeat, that's what children are taught in first grade. Imagine what they're taught in
good. Move it to fucking preschool. We've already done, like, this isn't something like, oh my god, this isn't something that is like insane. Like, this isn't some like, oh my god, the socialist Marxist cultural Jordan Peterson, the cultural Marxists. Like, this isn't some sort of like insane level of social oppression on being cis. This is just saying people are valid if they identify differently.
Second or third grade. And, of course, the world faces imminent disaster from global warming.
Okay, this is absolutely true. There's no defense of this. Like, there has been study after study after study after study. I can go pull up, I can literally, like, Google, is global warming real, and find, this isn't even, like, up for debate. Yeah, okay, oh my god, Texas was really cold. Global warming is not happening. No, aberrant patterns in climate are definitely an indicator of global warming. Like, if you see abnormal weather patterns, like, yeah, okay, this is why we're having like once every century weather events every like year now. This is ridiculous. Like, does she really think that global warming is not happening? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Do you notice all the fucking insane weather patterns we've been having?
The American Federation of Teachers has fully endorsed the most radical aspects of the Green New Deal.
Radical aspects like climate change is real. People deserve to be paid a living wage. We should be moving to renewable energies. Nothing's radical about that. Like, okay, like, actually going against renewables is the most radical fucking thing. So, obviously, in economics, you have this theory called first to market, where the person, or not even economics, in technology, you have first to market principle, which means the first person who can reliably reach a product in a marketplace will typically be the one that succeeds. Now, that's not always the case, but in tech, it holds true the majority of the time. So if I am a renewable energy manufacturer, or I'm a solar panel manufacturer, and I can create a efficient, cost-effective solar panels for people who, basically for people to put into their homes, then I can reliably have an easier time selling. So if an American company is first to market and we start selling those internationally, that's a ton of money, not only for the company, but because of international trade agreements, that's a ton of money in tax revenue. There's no reason to argue against this, besides just being like, I don't care if my kids have a planet. Like, that's literally it.
Which is already featured in California school curriculums.
Based.
In many of our schools are teaching children that our past is terrible and that they have no future.
Okay, like, if we're going the same direction that we're going, yeah, the future looks really fucking bleak. I'm sorry to say that, but holy shit. If we continue down the road that we are on, I'm not excited for what comes next. I'm really not. I'm really God damn it. I'm really not, like, excited for a world where we have to wear... I'm not excited to live in Metro 2033. Like, great games, but that sounds terrible. Like, it's not to say that, oh my god, everything in our past is bad, but we need to learn from it, and that there is a lot of bad shit, and we shouldn't let the perceived good take light over the very real bad things that have happened. This isn't some sort of like crazy woke radical ideology. This is teaching accurate history.
That if they are white, they are racist whether they know it or not.
Again, that's not what they're saying. Holy fuck!
If they're black, they're victims. Whether...
Nope. False. Again, no one's saying, oh, you're black, so you're automatically a victim. You are victims of some things for being black. Systemic injustices is, like, you tend to be more a higher chance of being a victim of that. You tend to be you are a victim of generational poverty if you don't have any money, if you don't come from generational wealth, but, like, Yeah, there's plenty of white people who don't have generational wealth too. This isn't the fact that all white people are racist, all black people are victims. It's not the case.
Whether they experience it or not. That they should constantly question their sexual identity.
Yes, you should be questioning, not constantly, but you should be questioning your sexual orientation and gender identity. Because I know she's too fucking stupid to understand this. But yes, every child should question that. Even if it's only for like 2 seconds where they're like, am I a boy? Am I a girl? Am I not? No, I'm a boy. Okay, let's go play. Like, even if that's literally, even if little Timmy is like, am I a boy or am I a girl? No, I'm a boy. Okay, that's it. That's all it needs to be. And that's all it is? Fucking, that's all it is. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's all that matters. That's all that fucking matters. That's all that matters. But, like, yeah, we should be encouraging children to ask those kind of questions, to understand themselves better, because that causes people to be more comfortable with themselves, and people who are comfortable with themselves tend to be happier and tend to be more productive. Yeah, no, that's a good thing.
With all this being drummed into their heads, no wonder today's kids have more psychological problems than any previous.
Wait, no. Today's kids have more psychological problems because parents like you are so fucking uninvolved in shit. You're so fucking doomeristic in approaching. You're so micromanaging over shit. Like, no, this isn't the case. Also, kids today are so damaged because we have no fucking, like, strong economy. Americans are fucked because of, I'm sorry, boomers. And I know she's not a boomer, but because of older people who said, you know what, fuck you, I got mine.
Previous generation. Maybe you think I'm cherry-picking examples to exaggerate my point. Or maybe you're one of the lucky ones who sends your kids to a school that has yet to be infected by this radical.
Just so you know, when she's like saying this, I know she's not cherry-picking her examples, but she's making mountains out of molehills. She's literally saying, no, we shouldn't be doing the job of educating our children properly. She says, well, why can't we just teach little girls to cook? Like, that's what she's getting at. Does anyone ever watch Futurama? There's that episode where they go back in time and they find where Fry kills his grandpa or whatever to become his own grandpa, and like they're in that store, and the guy's trying to sell Leela and the professor an oven, and he's like, see, a new model will make a hollow roast in only 6 hours plus. Because you're going to be standing in front of the oven so long, it comes with a nice feet warmer. And then the professor's like, you know, Leela, you really never do make enough roasts. And, like, that's literally the only way I can describe her is that is the future that she wants, is 60 years in the past.
Maybe. But if I were you, I wouldn't take it on faith. Find out for yourself. When I did, I was shocked to learn. Absolutely.
Find out for yourself. And then while you're at it, fucking sit down next to them and learn a thing or a dozen. Like, seriously, this is the kind of person who would be like, wait, is this a book on art? How dare you! My kid isn't appreciating art!
That all of this is happening in my school district.
Cool.
Right now. So find out what's being taught in your kid's school. Take a good hard look at.
This is like the biggest fucking Karen mentality, by the way. This is like the Queen Karen mentality of like, how dare you teach kids that we need to improve society for black people? How dare you teach kids that trans people are valid? How dare you teach kids that gay people should be able to adopt? Like, this is like supreme mega Karen shit. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Curricula. Ask administrators if they endorse the 1619 project.
You also, progressives, you should be doing this too. And if they don't endorse the 1619 project, you should be, questioning your choice in school.
Are they pushing a diversity, equity, and inclusion agenda?
How dare you push for diversity, equity, and inclusion? Also, like, they would be the ones to yell, be like, well, why? This is the Karen kind of shit of like, why didn't my kid get a participation trophy? I got one.
If so, demand to see what materials the school is using.
Also, the ironic thing here is any materials that they're using would be pushing this that they would reject would all be published within the last like couple of years. And if they're rejecting those things that were published in the last couple of years, they're literally be like, well, this isn't what I was taught in 1980 and 1970. We should go back to that material where, like, no.
At a minimum, get to know your kids' teachers and principals. Join the PTA, attend local school board.
Oh, fuck. Our mayor was on my school's PTA. This is... Yeah.
Meetings, look for allies.
Wood, sheep, brick, wheat.
Among reasonable, like-minded parents. You don't have to agree with each other on everything. You just have to agree that the brainwashing of our children stops here.
Yes, that I agree. I agree. The brainwashing of our children should stop. PragerU should dissolve themselves. Dennis Prager should instantly transfer all of his wealth to me. Whoever this bitch is should delete her blog and never, ever, ever talk to anyone else ever again.
Stops now. Americans know what our children should be learning. That they...
Yes, and that's what they're currently learning in schools. That's what you are complaining about. Because anything and everything she's talking about, scientists, historians, everything has already been largely agreed upon by experts in the field. This isn't some sort of like hot take, like, oh my fucking god, this is just fact. This is just fact.
They must take responsibility for their conduct. That race is the least important aspect of another person. That hard work and rational thought are things we all value.
Okay. Must take responsibility for their conduct. Well, you currently don't. Race is the least important. Okay, this one really pisses me off. This race is the least important aspect of another person. No one is trying to say that, oh my god, this person is like... The only person who would make this claim is some... like idpol white person who is like, I have black friends, I'm not racist. But like, the thing is race isn't the most important thing. No one's saying that race is the most important thing. What we're saying though is you need to recognize that because of intersectionality, someone experiences the world differently and comes to understand the world differently because they have a different lens of experience through the lens of their race. It's super important that we understand that and that we talk about that. What was the last one? That hard work and rational thought are things we all value. Yeah, we all do, which is why we're teaching kids this stuff, because all of this is rational. What she's actually advocating for is irrationality.
That there is nothing wrong with the bodies they were born into.
Yeah, no one's... Wait, what? No one's saying that. No one's saying... No, wait. No one's... Okay. Oh my god, I need to... This is some, like, turf shit that she's trying to pull. Like, conservative, anti-trans, turf, mindfuckery. Any trans individual... I don't want to say there's no trans person who's like, oh my god, my body is so terrible or anything. Like, obviously some people feel that way. I have issues with dysphoria. There's a lot of people who have issues with dysphoria. Hell, any like bodybuilder, anyone who does like obsessive exercising probably has some form of dysphoria. Like, she would not, like, this thing is, she would not tell someone who is suffering from anorexia or bulimia this. She would not be saying that. You know why? Because she's some fucking white Karen who probably deals with the same shit herself. But the fact of the matter is she's saying this to get at trans people. When she's doing anything, when what she's actually saying here is that trans people are not valid. And not all trans people want to change everything about their body. Like, yeah, you want your body you want your expression to match your identity, and that's fine. The more important thing, what I would say is that there is nothing wrong with wanting your body to match, with wanting your expression to match your identity. There's nothing wrong with that, other than, oh, hey, thanks for the follow. Getting fisted. But like the thing is when people say, "Oh, there is nothing wrong with the bodies you were born into," yeah, like no trans person is sitting here. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Like some, yeah, I know because I can't work out because fucking COVID. I'm not disagreeing with that shit. Are you fucking kidding me? I got all the good love handles. It's great. But like anyone who's saying this kind of shit and anyone who's looking at this is like, oh, well, we don't respect the validity of trans people. And when you're talking this through and you're thinking this through, like, trans people aren't going out and they're not being like, not necessarily true. There's a lot of studies into that. If you want to talk about it another time, we can. But like, trans people want to change their physical appearance. Yes, it's to come in line with how they feel and to alleviate dysphoria. But guess what? People who work out obsessively do. People who are anorexic do. People who are athletes do. Like maybe not for the same reasons, but by doing all of that, like, oh my fucking God.
And that America was founded not to promote racism, but to guarantee sacred liberties and opportunities to its citizens.
Wait, no one's disagreeing with the founding of America was on liberty and opportunity. No one's disagreeing with that. All people are saying is that, like, hold the fucking phone. Like, all people are saying is that America's founding has inequalities because the liberties and opportunities that they're trying to promote are not guaranteed to all. So, you know what? We should fucking do that. Also, America has a really fucking dark past of racism. That's what the 1619 Project is. This is just a fucking lie. Like, Jesus Christ.
And it wouldn't hurt if they learned reading and writing and math, too.
They do. Well, I mean, okay, conservatives might not learn reading, but...
I'm Jill Simonian, founder of thefabmom.com.
All right, that's it. No, you're not getting any more of my shit, PragerU. Yeah, no. God. Why do I cover shit like that? Why do I fucking subject myself to this fucking CBT? Like, Jesus Christ. I don't even... You really ought to be like... I do it for all of you. That's why I do it. Like, I do it because someone has to. Any rate, if you're watching this on YouTube, I do appreciate you coming and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember, PragerU is not an actual university any more than I am the President of the United States. Who knows? Maybe I will be one day. That'd be kind of cool. But I don't even think I want that much responsibility. Well, no, I am. I absolutely am a masochist. But like... Yeah, anyway, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitch. I try and stream every Saturday. Gonna be a bit busy, so I'm gonna get to it when I can get to it. Hopefully, I want to do Sunday Magic the Gathering streams and try and do weekly gamings. We'll see. But yeah, you could follow me on Twitch. You could sub on Twitch to be even fucking more poggers. Get some pog champs out here. You'd be all my little pog champs. But yeah, no, I appreciate all you hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the video.